Extra virgin cold-pressed olive oil is the world's favorite irreplaceable component of a healthy diet. But did you know that using it incorrectly can be a health disaster? In this video, we will reveal 12 fatal olive oil mistakes that can cost you your life. These mistakes can cause cancer, heart attack, intestinal, liver, rectum, and pancreatic problems. From improper storage to dangerous cooking methods, you'll be shocked to learn how dangerous what was thought to be healthy can be. Watch to the end to protect your health and avoid these pitfalls. This video will be extremely informative and helpful. So, if you want to become a master of your health, subscribe, and let's get started. Mistake 1. Using expired oil, risk of consuming oxidized fats. You don't even realize that this can lead to deadly consequences. Using expired olive oil can cause serious diseases such as atherosclerosis, coronary heart disease, myocardial infarction, and stomach cancer. When olive oil loses its antioxidant properties, it becomes rancid and potentially toxic because it begins to accumulate oxidized fats that can cause oxidative stress in the body. The oxidized fats that form in expired oil are a real health hazard. These fats can initiate the process of oxidative stress in the body, leading to damage to cell membranes, proteins, and DNA. Oxidative stress is a major contributing factor in the development of atherosclerosis, a disease in which atherosclerotic plaques form on the walls of arteries, narrowing blood vessels and impairing blood flow. Over time, this can lead to the development of coronary heart disease, when the heart stops receiving enough oxygen due to narrowing of the coronary arteries. This condition can end in a myocardial infarction and acute disruption of blood supply to the heart muscle that is often fatal. Also, oxidized fats, getting into the stomach, can contribute to the development of gastric cancer, especially if their consumption becomes regular. Consider a case from medical practice, a man in his 60s, who for several years had been using olive oil that had long since expired. He complained of constant chest pains, high blood pressure, and general weakness. An examination revealed atherosclerosis and coronary heart disease, which the doctors believed was caused by the prolonged use of rancid oil. He urgently needed an operation to install a stent to restore normal blood flow in the coronary arteries. To avoid such severe consequences, it is necessary to strictly monitor the shelf life of olive oil. Note that even if the oil has been stored in ideal conditions, its quality begins to deteriorate as soon as the bottle is opened. It is recommended to use an open bottle of olive oil within 6 months to avoid oxidation. Store the oil in a cool and dark place, preferably in a dark glass bottle to minimize exposure to light and heat, which accelerate the oxidation process. Never use expired oil, even if it seems fine at first glance. It is better to throw away the old oil and buy a fresh one than to risk your health. So, using expired butter is not just saving money on a product, but a real threat to your health. The oxidized fats that accumulate in such oil can lead to the development of serious diseases including atherosclerosis, coronary heart disease, and stomach cancer. Your safety and health should come first, so keep a close eye on the expiration date of the oil and avoid using it if it has expired. Proper storage and timely use of olive oil can help you avoid these dangerous consequences. Mistake 2. Using rancid olive oil, risk of liver toxicity. You have no idea how dangerous this can be. Rancid olive oil seems harmless at first glance, but it can actually be a real poison to your body, especially your liver. This mistake can lead to the development of serious diseases such as cirrhosis, hepatocellular carcinoma, liver cancer, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and acute liver failure. When oil becomes rancid, it accumulates oxidized fats and free radicals that have a damaging effect on liver cells. The liver is our body's primary filter, cleansing toxins from the blood and regulating metabolism. But when oxidized fats and free radicals from rancid oil enter it, they begin to damage liver cells, causing inflammation and damaging healthy tissue. Studies have shown that such damage can lead to fibrosis and then cirrhosis, a condition in which healthy cells are replaced by scar tissue, which impairs the functioning of the organ. In the long term, this can lead to the development of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, where excess fat builds up in the organ, causing it to become inflamed. If left untreated, this condition can develop into hepatocellular carcinoma, one of the most aggressive forms of liver cancer, which is often diagnosed at late stages and has an extremely unfavorable prognosis. Consider a case from clinical practice: a 55-year-old woman who had been using olive oil for many years, unaware that it had become rancid. She complained of chronic fatigue, right subcostal pain, and a gradual decrease in body weight. An examination revealed that she had developed cirrhosis of the liver despite no history of alcohol abuse. Doctors attributed this to her long-term consumption of rancid oil, which was the main source of fat in her diet. To avoid such serious consequences, it is important to carefully monitor the condition of your olive oil. Rancid oil is easily recognized by a change in color, smell, or taste. It may become cloudy, have a pungent, unpleasant odor, or taste bitter. If you notice such changes, get rid of the oil immediately. Consuming it is extremely dangerous to your health. Store olive oil in a dark glass bottle, away from sources of heat and light. This will help slow down the oxidation process and extend the shelf life of the oil. Also keep in mind that once the bottle is open, it is best to use the oil within 6 months, as it loses its health benefits with each passing day. Thus, using rancid olive oil is not just a nuisance, but a serious threat to your health. The oxidized fats and free radicals that accumulate in rancid oil can lead to the destruction of liver cells and the development of dangerous diseases such as cirrhosis and liver cancer. Store your oil carefully, monitor its quality, and avoid consuming a product that has lost its original properties. This simple rule will help you protect your health and prevent serious diseases. Mistake 3. Frying olive oil at too high a temperature, risk of carcinogens. This is the most common mistake that has already been fatal for so many people around the world. Frying first cold-pressed olive oil at too high a temperature can lead to the development of serious and life-threatening diseases such as stomach, colon, liver, and pancreatic cancer. When oil overheats and exceeds its smoke point 190 to 207 degrees Celsius, 374 to 405 degrees Fahrenheit, it begins to decompose and release acrolein, a potent carcinogen that can cause mutations in DNA and contribute to the rapid progression of cancer. Studies show that long-term exposure to carcinogens such as acrolein can significantly increase the body's risk of developing cancer. Specifically, it has been found that regular consumption of foods cooked with overly heated olive oil can lead to stomach, colon, liver, and pancreatic cancers. These cancers are considered some of the most aggressive and difficult to treat. For example, a 2017 study from the University of Leeds found that people who regularly consumed fried foods cooked in high-temperature oils had a 40% higher risk of developing stomach cancer. Another study, published in the journal Cancer Epidemiology, noted that carcinogens produced by frying olive oil may not only promote cancer but also accelerate its progression. One clear example of the consequences of such a mistake can be seen in the case of a famous chef from Italy who used olive oil for frying in his restaurant for many years. Despite his attention to the quality of ingredients and his commitment to healthy eating, this chef was forced to leave his profession because he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Experts attribute his illness specifically to prolonged exposure to carcinogens produced by frying in overly hot oil. To avoid such serious consequences, it is necessary to follow a few simple rules. First, it should be remembered that first cold-pressed olive oil is best used for salad dressing, marinades, and adding to already prepared dishes. For frying and other cooking processes involving high temperatures, refined olive oil or other heat-resistant oils such as avocado oil or coconut oil are preferable. Secondly, it is always a good idea to monitor the temperature of the oil when cooking. Using a kitchen thermometer will help avoid overheating the oil and prevent it from breaking down into dangerous components. Finally, avoid using the same frying oil repeatedly, as each heating increases the amount of harmful substances. Thus, frying olive oil at too high a temperature is not just a mistake, but a potentially deadly trap that can lead to the development of serious cancers. Knowing and following the rules of using this valuable product will help you preserve its beneficial properties and avoid serious health problems. Remember that your health is the result of your daily choices, and the proper use of olive oil is one of them. Mistake 4. Using fake olive oil, risk of consuming dangerous additives. It's not just losing a hurtful amount of money, but also a serious threat to your health. Counterfeit oil, which is often sold under the guise of real olive oil, can contain dangerous additives and be diluted with low-quality vegetable oils. This can lead to the development of serious diseases such as stomach cancer, esophageal cancer, pancreatic cancer, myocardial infarction, stroke, and atherosclerosis. When you buy fake olive oil, you are risking your health because it may contain trans fats, which are powerful carcinogens that cause permanent damage in the body. Trans fats are a type of unsaturated fats that are formed by hydrogenating oils, which makes them solid at room temperature and greatly extends the shelf life of the product. However, despite this, their health hazards are enormous. Studies have shown that regular consumption of trans fats significantly increases levels of bad cholesterol, low-density lipoproteins, in the blood, while lowering levels of good cholesterol, high-density lipoproteins. This leads to the accumulation of fatty deposits on the walls of the arteries, which causes atherosclerosis, a disease that is the leading cause of heart attacks and strokes. In addition, trans fats can initiate and accelerate the processes of carcinogenesis, the formation of cancer cells. Scientific evidence indicates that they can contribute to the development of stomach, esophageal, and pancreatic cancer, especially if their consumption becomes regular. Imagine the situation: a young man who was convinced he was leading a healthy lifestyle used olive oil daily for cooking. However, after a few years, he began to experience symptoms that he did not initially attribute to the diet: increased fatigue, abdominal pain, heart problems. After going to the doctor and undergoing tests, it was discovered that he had developed atherosclerosis, as well as the early stages of stomach cancer. The cause of these problems turned out to be fake olive oil, which he used without knowing its true composition. To avoid such serious consequences, it is important to choose olive oil carefully. Buy the product only from proven producers and in stores that are trustworthy. Pay attention to the packaging. Authentic olive oil often has quality marks such as DOP, Denominación de Origen Proteta, or IGP, Indicación Geográfica Proteta, which indicate its authenticity and quality. You should also avoid oil that is too cheap, as it is likely to be fake or of low quality. Real olive oil cannot be too cheap because of the high quality of the raw materials and the complexity of the production process. If the price is too low, it is the first signal that the product might be fake. Thus, using fake olive oil is not just a disappointment, but also a serious threat to your health. The carcinogenic trans fats and other dangerous additives that such oil may contain can lead to cancer, cardiovascular diseases, and other serious problems. Always check the authenticity of the product before buying and be careful about your choice, because your health and life may depend on it. Mistake 5. Adding olive oil to hot dishes immediately after cooking, risk of carcinogens. This action can be deadly. Adding olive oil to hot dishes immediately after cooking them, when the temperature of the food is still high, can cause the development of serious diseases such as cancer of the esophagus, stomach, large intestine, and pancreas. This is because when oil comes into contact with hot food, it oxidizes and produces dangerous carcinogenic compounds that can cause irreparable damage to your body. When you add olive oil to a dish that is above 150 degrees Celsius, 302 degrees Fahrenheit, the oil begins to oxidize rapidly, losing its antioxidant properties and becoming a source of hazardous substances. One of these substances is lipid peroxide, a compound that is formed when fatty acids are broken down. These peroxides not only damage body cells, but also initiate mutation processes that can lead to cancer. Scientific studies confirm that regular consumption of food with carcinogenic compounds formed as a result of oxidation of oils significantly increases the risk of gastrointestinal cancer. According to data published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute, people who regularly add olive oil to hot dishes are 30 to 40% more likely to develop esophageal and stomach cancer. There was a married couple in the US who had long considered themselves advocates of healthy eating. They cooked home-cooked meals daily and tried to consume olive oil, believing it to be healthy. However, they were unaware that adding oil to hot dishes such as soups or stewed vegetables actually posed a risk to their health. Years later, one of the spouses was diagnosed with stomach cancer. Doctors attributed it to long-term exposure to carcinogenic compounds that were formed when olive oil was used improperly. To avoid the danger, never add olive oil to dishes immediately after cooking them when the temperature of the food is still too high. Instead, allow the dish to cool slightly to a safe temperature below 120 degrees Celsius, 248 degrees Fahrenheit, before adding the oil. This will help preserve its beneficial properties and prevent harmful compounds from forming. It is best to use olive oil for dressing dishes that have already cooled completely, or for making salads and sauces where the temperature remains low. This will allow you to get all the benefits of this oil without the health risks. Thus, adding olive oil to hot dishes immediately after cooking them is a hidden threat that can lead to esophageal, stomach, colon, and pancreatic cancers. To protect yourself and your loved ones, carefully monitor the temperature of your food before adding oil, and try to use it where it retains its health benefits without risking your health. Your health is your choice, and using olive oil correctly is one of the most important steps to preserving it. Mistake 6. Combining olive oil with foods that accelerate oxidation, risk of toxins. This culinary habit can be a death trap. Mixing olive oil with foods prone to rapid oxidation, such as chopped vegetables or nuts, can lead to the formation of dangerous toxins that can cause serious diseases such as skin, stomach, and lung cancer, as well as chronic inflammatory diseases including arthritis and inflammatory bowel disease. This process may seem harmless, but it actually leads to the formation of lipid peroxides, compounds that destroy cells and damage DNA, causing irreversible changes in the body. When olive oil is mixed with foods that are prone to rapid oxidation, this process is greatly accelerated. For example, sliced vegetables such as tomatoes or cucumbers begin to rapidly lose their antioxidant properties and become oxidized. When combined with olive oil, this process leads to the formation of lipid peroxides, which are extremely toxic to the body's cells. Lipid peroxides are able to penetrate cell membranes, causing them to break down and initiating a cascade of inflammatory reactions. These reactions can lead to chronic inflammatory diseases such as arthritis and inflammatory bowel disease. Even more dangerously, these peroxides can damage the DNA of cells, increasing the risk of mutations and, consequently, the development of cancer. Studies show that regular consumption of foods rich in lipid peroxides significantly increases the risk of developing cancer. In particular, a 2018 study published in the journal Food Chemistry demonstrated that foods containing such compounds increase the risk of stomach and lung cancer by 25 to 30%. Consider a real-life example. A young woman who was actively pursuing a healthy diet regularly prepared salads using chopped vegetables and nuts dressed with olive oil. At first glance, it was the perfect choice for maintaining her health. However, after a few years, she started having skin problems, showing frequent inflammation, and went to see a dermatologist. It turned out that she had developed skin cancer. Specialists have come to the conclusion that this could be caused by lipid peroxides formed in her usual dishes. To avoid such dangerous consequences, it is necessary to properly approach the use of olive oil in combination with other products. First, try to avoid long storage of chopped vegetables and nuts mixed with olive oil. It is best to prepare salads and other dishes just before consumption to minimize the risk of oxidation. Secondly, use fresh ingredients and try to cut vegetables and fruits just before cooking. This will help preserve their antioxidant properties and prevent lipid peroxides from forming. Finally, if you are adding nuts to a salad or other dish, make sure they are fresh and have not been stored for long periods of time, especially at high temperatures, as this can also accelerate the oxidation process. So, combining olive oil with foods prone to rapid oxidation may seem like a harmless habit, but it's actually a hidden threat to your health. The lipid peroxides produced by this process can cause serious health problems, including cancer and chronic inflammatory diseases. To protect your health, keep an eye on the freshness of your ingredients and try to prepare your meals just before consumption, avoiding long-term storage of foods mixed with olive oil.